The sun had already dipped below the hills, painting the sky in soft streaks of lavender and rose. In the little village at the forest's edge, windows glowed with candlelight, and chimneys puffed tiny trails of smoke into the cool evening air. But while the world was preparing for sleep, one boy lingered beneath the tall oak tree at the end of the path. His name was Sam, and though his eyes were heavy, his heart was restless with curiosity. For weeks, he had heard the villagers whisper about a dragon that lived in the hidden caves beyond the meadow. Not a fierce dragon, not one who breathed fire or frightened the children, but a sleepy dragon. A dragon who loved to rest under the stars, whose snores rumbled softly like distant thunder, and whose dreams were said to color the clouds above the village at night. Sam tilted his head to the sky, watching the first stars appear, and he whispered to himself, "Tonight, I'll find the sleepy dragon. Maybe he'll share one of his dreams with me." The breeze brushed gently against his hair, cool and sweet with the smell of pine. Fireflies blinked in the shadows, lighting a soft path toward the meadow's edge. Sam adjusted the little satchel slung over his shoulder. Inside was only a flask of warm milk, a small loaf of bread, and his favorite blanket, in case the night grew chilly. With steady, quiet steps, he walked past the tall grasses swaying silver in the moonlight. Crickets chirped in the distance, and the soft hoot of an owl called from a branch above. The forest didn't feel frightening tonight. Instead, it felt alive with secrets, as though every sound and shadow was gently guiding Sam forward. At last, he reached the meadow, where the grass opened wide like a green sea under the starlit sky. Beyond it, he could see the faint outline of the rocky caves. His heart beat faster, not with fear, but with excitement. He clutched his blanket closer and whispered again, "Sleepy dragon, I'm coming." And so, with the stars as his lanterns and the moon as his guide, Sam took his first steps toward an adventure that would carry him into the heart of dreams. Sam stepped carefully into the meadow, the tall grasses brushing softly against his legs. The night air felt cool and alive, carrying the faintest scent of wildflowers mixed with the earthy dampness of stone from the caves beyond. His blanket swayed gently at his side, and the satchel at his hip knocked lightly with each step. Above him, the stars glittered brighter now that the trees were behind him, their light spilling across the meadow like a silver river. The fireflies had multiplied, hovering in lazy swirls as though they were lanterns sent to guide him on. Their glow reflected off the dew that clung to the grass, making the entire field sparkle as if the ground itself were sprinkled with stardust. Sam slowed, taking in the sight, his chest warming with awe. "It feels like a dream already," he whispered. As he walked deeper into the meadow, he began to notice something unusual, a low, steady rhythm that didn't belong to the crickets or the owls. It was deep and gentle, like the sound of distant thunder rolling behind the hills. Sam paused, listening. The sound wasn't frightening, in fact, it was oddly calming, as though the earth itself were breathing. His heart skipped. Could it be the dragon's snore? He pressed on, guided by the sound, until he reached a cluster of rocks at the meadow's edge. The stones were warm under his hand, faintly glowing as if they had soaked in moonlight. A small stream trickled between them, its water clear and glistening. He crouched down and cupped some in his palms, drinking deeply. The water was cool, refreshing, and left a sweetness on his tongue that made him feel even braver. As Sam straightened, the rhythm grew louder, a slow inhale, then a rumbling exhale that seemed to ripple through the grass. His eyes widened. It was close now. The sleepy dragon was real, and Sam could feel the warmth of its dreams drifting through the air. The boy followed the sound until the meadow dipped into a hollow. There, nestled between the stone walls of a half-hidden cave, lay the dragon. Its scales shimmered in the moonlight, not sharp or fearsome, but soft, pearly, and smooth, like overlapping shells. Its wings were folded close to its sides, rising and falling with every long, slow breath. Its eyes were closed, and as it exhaled, small puffs of mist curled from its nostrils, glowing faintly before fading into the night. Sam stood very still, his heart thumping, but not from fear. The dragon didn't look frightening at all. It looked peaceful, like a mountain asleep, humming softly in its dreams. He took one cautious step closer, then another, until he was close enough to feel the warmth radiating from the dragon's body. It was like standing near a hearth fire, safe and comforting. He spread his blanket on the grass and sat down, tucking his knees under his chin. "Hello, sleepy dragon," he whispered gently, as though afraid to wake it too soon. "I'm Sam. I've come to see if your dreams are really as magical as everyone says." The dragon's ear flicked faintly, but it didn't stir. Instead, the slow rumble of its breathing grew deeper, and the mist from its nostrils shimmered brighter, forming shapes in the air, tiny flickers of stars, like the dragon's dreams were spilling out into the night for Sam to see. Sam smiled, his eyes heavy already, as he leaned back on his blanket. "Maybe if I sit here long enough, I'll see your dreams too." And with that, under the moonlit meadow, he let his own breathing fall in rhythm with the dragon's, the night wrapping both of them in gentle silence. Sam lay still on his blanket, eyes heavy, listening to the dragon's deep, steady breathing. Each exhale carried a curl of glowing mist that floated into the air, shimmering like smoke made of starlight. At first, the mist twisted and disappeared into the night. But then, as Sam's breathing fell in rhythm with the dragon's, the shapes began to change. A great tree appeared in the mist, its branches stretching wide, dripping with golden leaves that rained down like sparks. Sam blinked, and the next puff of mist brought a river that glowed silver, winding its way through the grass before vanishing into the stars. The dragon's dreams were painting the meadow around them, filling it with scenes that felt both magical and safe. Sam sat up slowly, his eyes wide, his heart beating with wonder. "You're dreaming out loud," he whispered. And then, to his amazement, one of the glowing shapes drifted lower, a small, misty bird made of light. It fluttered toward him, perched on his hand, and for a moment Sam felt warmth in his palm, as though the dream itself had chosen him. The dragon stirred, its eyelids fluttering open, though only halfway. Its eyes were not sharp or frightening, they were heavy with drowsiness, glowing a soft amber that felt like the comfort of a fire on a cold night. It blinked slowly at Sam, then let out a low, rumbling sigh. With its next exhale, the mist grew thicker, surrounding both of them, until Sam could no longer see the meadow. When the mist cleared, Sam was no longer lying on his blanket. He was standing on a path made of light, with the sleepy dragon lumbering gently beside him. The world had shifted into a dreamscape, a place born of the dragon's slumber and Sam's courage to step inside. The path wound through a sky filled with glowing lanterns that floated like planets, their light so soft it made Sam's shoulders relax and his eyelids grow heavier. Beneath them stretched rolling fields of stars, each one pulsing like a heartbeat. The dragon yawned, the sound echoing like a gentle drum, and Sam giggled. The yawn didn't scare him, it made the ground beneath them hum in rhythm, as if everything here was alive with the dragon's calm. Together they walked slowly, Sam's small hand brushing against the dragon's smooth scales. The dragon's eyes closed again, yet it continued to walk, as if the dream itself carried them both forward. Every step revealed something new, a hill where flowers opened to release glowing butterflies, a brook where fish swam in colors Sam had never seen before, a forest of trees that bent low as though bowing in welcome. "Are these all your dreams?" Sam asked softly. The dragon's ear twitched, and though it did not speak, another puff of glowing mist rose into the sky and shaped itself into a nodding face. Sam smiled, understanding that the dragon shared not with words, but with pictures, feelings, and light. As they wandered deeper into the dream, Sam felt the weight of sleep tugging at him, but not in a way that frightened him. It was gentle, safe, as though the dream itself was preparing to carry him into rest. He leaned against the dragon's warm side, letting the steady hum of its breathing lull him further into peace. And so, under a sky built of dreams, Sam's adventure with the sleepy dragon unfolded, not in fire or battles, but in glowing rivers, lantern skies, and the calm joy of walking together through a world made entirely of slumber. The glowing dream path beneath Sam and the dragon stretched further, carrying them into new landscapes woven from slumber itself. Each step was soft, as if they walked not on stone or grass but on the very fabric of the night. The dragon's snores rumbled gently, shaping the dream as they moved, and Sam felt safe, as though he was wrapped in a blanket made of stars. Ahead, the path opened into a valley of clouds. They weren't ordinary clouds, they were thick, fluffy, and glowing faintly like lanterns floating on the horizon. Sam hesitated at the edge, but when the dragon placed one enormous paw onto the nearest cloud, it held steady, bouncing slightly like a soft cushion. Sam giggled and stepped on two, sinking just a little, then springing upward as if he were walking on a bed. Together they wandered deeper into the cloud valley, and each puff of the dragon's breath shaped the clouds into pictures. One became a castle with towers that sparkled in the moonlight. Another shifted into a great sailing ship with glowing sails, drifting across the sky. Sam laughed in delight, running from one shape to the next, while the dragon plodded slowly behind, its eyes half closed but its dreams still alive and strong. From the clouds, a trail of glowing butterflies rose, fluttering lazily around Sam's shoulders. They glowed in blues, yellows, and soft silvers, their wings dusted with sparkles that rained gently to the ground. Sam stretched out his hand, and one landed softly on his finger. He felt no weight, only warmth, like the tiniest candle flame. "Are you part of the dragon's dream too?" he whispered. The butterfly's wings shimmered brighter, then it lifted away, joining its family in the air. Further on, they discovered a lake, but not a lake of water. This one was filled with liquid light, glowing softly as it rippled. Stars floated across its surface, and when Sam leaned close, he saw not his reflection but his happiest memories, sitting under the oak tree at home, his mother tucking him in with his favorite blanket, laughter with friends in the village. He looked up at the dragon. "Your dreams show me what matters most." The dragon's ear twitched, and it exhaled another sigh, sending a ripple of warmth through the lake. The air was hushed now, but not empty. It carried a lullaby-like hum, as if the entire dream world was singing softly. Sam leaned against the dragon's warm side as they sat by the glowing lake. The dragon's scales felt smooth and cool, yet the heat beneath them wrapped him in safety. His eyes drooped, his breathing slowed, and he realized that the dream itself was teaching him something, that the greatest adventures weren't about running or fighting. They were about slowing down, breathing deeply, and finding comfort in the quiet. The stars overhead drifted lower, some landing gently on the grass around them like fireflies. The clouds reshaped into a cradle, surrounding Sam and the dragon in a nest of softness. Sam sighed, whispering, "I think your dreams are more beautiful than anything I've ever seen." The dragon shifted, curling around him protectively, its great body forming a wall of warmth. And so, in the heart of the dragon's dream, Sam lay still, surrounded by clouds, starlight, and the gentle pulse of magic. He realized he didn't just want to see the dragon's dreams, he wanted to share them, to carry them back so he would always remember how peace could feel. Sam lay nestled in the dragon's warmth as the dreamscape around them began to soften. The glowing clouds that had cradled them slowly drifted apart, thinning into veils of mist. The fountain of starlight dimmed to a gentle shimmer, and the glowing lake stilled, its ripples flattening into a smooth mirror. Sam realized that something was changing, the dream was loosening, preparing to fold him gently back into the waking world. The sleepy dragon gave a long, slow yawn, the kind that trembled through its chest like a soft drumbeat. Its breath curled in silver swirls that lifted toward the dream sky and then faded. Sam pressed his small hand against its scales, whispering, "Thank you for letting me see your dreams. They're more magical than I ever imagined." The dragon opened one eye lazily, the amber glow within soft and kind. It leaned its great head closer, resting its snout beside Sam like a mountain bowing. The gesture said everything without words, "You are part of these dreams now too." The dream path beneath them began to dissolve, and Sam felt the familiar tug of the real world. The clouds around the dragon faded to grass. The starlit trees became the rocky edges of the meadow's cave. the glowing fountain dimmed into the silver light of the moon setting behind the hills. And there Sam was again, wrapped in his blanket, his satchel by his side, with the dragon still lying peacefully at the cave's mouth. The dragon had not moved, still slumbering, but the mist from its nose curled faintly brighter now, as though sharing its calm with Sam even in waking. Sam touched the dream acorn he had tucked into his blanket earlier, and for the first time, he felt its warmth pulse faintly, as if carrying a spark of the dragon's dreams. The meadow around him was hushed, glowing faintly with the last stars before dawn. The owls had gone quiet, replaced by the distant chorus of morning birds. Sam breathed in deeply. The cool air was laced with pine, dew, and the faint, sweet warmth of the dragon's presence. He rolled onto his back, gazing at the pale sky where streaks of gold began to appear. His heart no longer raced with the thrill of discovery. Instead, it beat slowly, contentedly, filled with the knowledge that he had found something rare and precious. The sleepy dragon wasn't just a legend whispered in the village. It was real. And it had shared its dreams with him. Sam pulled his blanket closer, closing his eyes once more. "I'll tell the others," he murmured drowsily, "that your dreams keep the night calm for everyone." His words floated into the still air, though he knew the dragon would understand. The boy's breathing slowed, falling into rhythm with the dragon's once again. And as the first rays of dawn spread across the meadow, Sam drifted back into a light, gentle sleep, carrying the peace of the dragon's dreamland in his heart. Sam awoke to the warmth of sunlight brushing his cheeks. For a moment, he thought he was still inside the dream, the air so soft, the ground so glowing with dew, and the rhythm of deep breathing still nearby. But as he blinked fully awake, he saw the dragon lying in the meadow's hollow, its great chest rising and falling, its snores rumbling like distant thunder. Only now, in daylight, its scales gleamed a pale pearly blue, shimmering faintly as if they still held fragments of starlight. He sat up slowly, clutching his blanket, his heart full and calm. The satchel at his side felt heavier somehow, and when he peeked inside, he found the dream acorn glowing faintly as though it had carried a piece of the night into the morning. Sam smiled, knowing it was a gift, a reminder that the dragon's dreams were not just for him, but for everyone. The meadow looked different now, touched by dawn. Birds sang gently from the hedges, rabbits hopped through the grass leaving trails of sparkling dew, and even the brook trickled with a sound that matched the dragon's slow breathing. Sam realized that the dragon's dreams hadn't simply vanished with the night. They had left a mark on the world, a hush of peace, a softness that spread into every corner of the meadow. He stood, brushing dew from his knees, and turned toward the village. "I'll come back," he whispered to the dragon, though he knew the dragon might not hear him in its slumber. But in that moment, one amber eye cracked open, glowing faintly, before sliding shut again. It was the dragon's way of saying, "Yes, little dreamer, you are welcome here always." Sam began the walk home, his steps slow but steady. The path through the meadow no longer felt long or strange. The fireflies had gone, but their glow lingered in his memory. The clouds of night had lifted, but the peace of the dragon's dream still wrapped around him. When he finally reached the village, the rooftops glinting with morning light, he knew that even though the others might not see what he had seen, he carried it within him. He paused at the oak tree where his journey had begun, clutching his blanket tightly around his shoulders. A breeze rustled through the leaves, cool and comforting, and he felt it whisper, "The magic will return whenever you are ready to dream again." That evening, when the stars came out and the villagers told their stories by candlelight, Sam sat quietly by the window. He didn't boast or shout. Instead, he held the glowing acorn gently in his palms and smiled. He knew the sleepy dragon was out there, dreaming new dreams under the same stars. And when he closed his eyes, curling into his blanket, he could almost hear the soft rumble of its snores guiding him gently into sleep. From that night on, whenever Sam felt restless, he only had to look at the moon or listen to the hush of the wind to feel the dragon's presence. And in the quietest hours, when the village slept, Sam knew the truth. The sleepy dragon's dreams weren't just his secret. They were gifts to anyone willing to slow down, breathe deeply, and let the night carry them gently away. And so Sam's adventure ended, not with fireworks or battles, but with calm, with kindness, and with the gift of peaceful dreams that would stay with him forever.